Sir. All right, shalom, everybody. Welcome to tonight's class. Happy Sabbath to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. I am your brother, Jacob.
I am your brother, Joab.
So, tonight's class, we're getting into the law. You know, what we're teaching is repentance to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. So, give me James 1:1. That's what we'll go first.
Okay.
What we're gonna do, we're gonna go over some laws. But before we do, we're gonna hit a couple scriptures. So yeah, James 1:1.
Shalom, Most High in Christ, bless. Happy Sabbath to the 12. The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting.
Right. So they're writing and going to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, which are scattered abroad. Why are the children of Israel scattered abroad? Why are they scattered into every nation? Give me 1 Peter 1:1.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and by Bithynia. Bithynia.
Right. So the strangers are scattered throughout these locations. These are just the locations Peter's writing to, that he's in charge of.
Right.
The 12 tribes are scattered abroad. Those strangers are the 12 tribes.
Right.
Now, Deuteronomy 28:64. I didn't write any notes for this class. It's pretty simple. We're just going to go over laws. But go ahead, read that 28 and 64.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
That's Israel, the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Go ahead.
And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So this is why you see our brothers, they're going to the Israelites scattered in all these areas.
Right.
Our people worshiping these other gods. That's why Paul, when he's at Athens, he's looking throughout the city. He see all this idolatry going on, and our people are there, literally fulfilling this verse. That's what he's talking about. And so all of this happened. We're scattered for reproach amongst our enemies because of us breaking these laws. And nobody ever wants to talk about these laws. Right. But these laws show you how you're supposed to walk. This is what the Lord requires of us. This is how he requires of us to walk like him. That's why it's written, he that saith, I know him and keepeth not the commandments is a liar. You don't know him because the only way you know him, his mind, is these commandments. Acts 21. Start at 21. Yep. So this is Paul. This is Paul talking to one of the elders. They're at the temple in Jerusalem. Watch what he says, because there's some confusion going around that he's teaching against the law. He's teaching contrary to the law. What he's actually teaching, is that Christ came and he gave his body and his blood. So you no longer need the blood of bulls and goats.
Right.
Christ has done that. So you in turn have to believe on him. So he's telling the people, Christ came, he fulfilled what he fulfilled. So now you no longer need to sacrifice animals. So that's what's going on here. But watch this. Go ahead, verse 21. Acts 21:21.
The book of Acts, chapter 21 and verse 21. And they are informed of thee, that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought to circumcise their children, not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs.
So neither to walk after the customs. So see, this is a rumor that goes all the way back to Acts 15. That's not what was being said, because you had brothers that said they believe, and they was coming to the churches and saying you still got to keep animal sacrifice. That's what when it's saying the law of Moses, that's what it's talking about. That wasn't so. They were saying that no, you don't have to sacrifice animals. That's what Paul and them is preaching. You don't have to sacrifice animals. But the rumor is that you saying don't follow the law. So go ahead.
Verse 22. What is it therefore? The multitude must needs come together, for they will hear that thou art come.
Right, so they're going to hear that you're here. They've been hearing all these rumors coming back to Jerusalem.
Right.
So they're going to want to confront you and ask you about keeping the commandments. Go ahead.
Do, therefore, this that we say to thee. We have 4 men which have a vow on them. Take them and purify thyself with them, and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed concerning thee are nothing, but that thou thyself also walkest orderly and keepest the law.
See, so thou walkest orderly. Show them that you walk orderly, and keep the commandments. So what this walking is you'll look over it, but that's an important word, because you're supposed to walk in the commandments.
Right.
Luke 1. We're gonna get to the commandments, but we're gonna hit some other verses first. Luke 1 and 5.
Everybody know that famous saying Puffy used to say all the time. Don't speak about it, be about it.
Oh.
Yeah, be about it.
Yeah, puff about something else too. Yeah.
That's probably the only good thing he ever said. You said Luke 1.
Luke 1 and 5.
Got you. The book of Luke, chapter 1 and verse 5. There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea.
So Herod was an Idumean. He's Amalek. So he was not an Israelite at all. He was what you would call today a Jewish person. He was a white person that was keeping the commandments of God and that damn Talmud crap. That's what he was. Go ahead.
A certain priest named Zacharias of the course of Abia, and his wife was one of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth.
So they were both descendants of Aaron, which the priests come out of that. So they had more laws, statutes, and commandments than the rest of Israel. More.
Yep.
More strict. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless.
Walking in the commandments. Walking in the commandments. That means they was keeping them righteously. So it's not saying that they did not commit sin, but if they committed anything, they would atone for it through animal sacrifice. So they're doing everything that they're supposed to do. Now, give me Deuteronomy 11. Start at verse 18.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11 and verse 18. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes.
In your mind and in your actions. Go ahead. Your strength. Your strength. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
So you're teaching them in every aspect of life how to walk in the commandments. How to walk in the commandments. Continue on.
Hold on. Can I intervene for a second? it says that you must start them as children as they're growing up, speaking and walking in these commandments. A lot of you parents, y'all make friends out of your children. That's a first mistake. Second mistake, y'all not teaching y'all children nothing. Y'all not raising y'all children, y'all maintaining them. Y'all need to cut that out. Y'all need to guide your children from the start so they won't disappoint you later. That's the best way that I can put it. These laws is what's going to keep that stress off your family. These laws will make you not have to worry about your child ever. I just had to get that off my chest, man. I'm tired of seeing it's like now the children are raising the damn parents now.
I want to go somewhere else so bad, but we need to stay on topic. I want to go to Sirach 30, about conquering your child. We'll do that some other time.
Yeah.
But like he's saying, we're supposed to teach the commandments to our children. Teach them from a child as they're growing up, so they learn this and they're not walking in the midst of sin like we was raised in.
Right.
People make the excuse, oh, well, we're going to keep these holidays for the kids. No, you're destroying your children.
Exactly.
Wholeheartedly. You're destroying them. You're turning them away from the Lord and his commandments to do the tradition of men.
Right.
Go ahead, though.
Verse 20, and thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates.
So the Jewish people, they literally do that. I showed y'all. Mm-hmm. They got them little things and they put on the door and on the fence and stuff. It's talking about you keep them in your property.
Your dwelling.
In your house, in your dwelling, in your gates. That's why it says gates. See, it says it. Upon thy gates.
Right.
In your property. You're supposed to be walking in the laws. Go ahead.
Verse 21, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth.
As the days of heaven upon earth. Rulership.
Right.
When we were in our land, we're in rulership,
right.
Heaven upon earth. Verse 22.
Verse 22, for if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments, which I command you to do them, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him.
To keeping the commandments is walking in his ways. It's the only way you know the Lord, by his commandments. Mm-hmm. Walking in his ways. Now, give me 1 Kings 8:58. We're going to read down to 61.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 8 and verse 58. That he may incline our hearts unto him, to walk in all his ways, and to keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgments, which he commanded our fathers.
See how it goes hand in hand. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to walk in the commandments, not just read them, not just talk about them, but you're supposed to apply them to your life and walk in them. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 59. And let these my words, wherewith I have made supplication before the Lord, be nigh unto the Lord our God, day and night.
Be close. Be close. Go ahead.
That he maintain the cause of his servant and the cause of his people Israel at all times, as the matter shall require.
His people Israel, come on.
Verse 60, that all the people of the earth may know that the Lord is God, and that there is none else.
See, you notice it don't say world right there. It say all the people of the earth.
Right.
But other nations supposed to look at us and know that we are the children of God because we're behaving ourselves the way he would. Go ahead.
Verse 61, let your heart therefore be perfect with the Lord our God.
Now, when I first came into truth, this is one of the scriptures that resonated deeply with me. And I was thinking about that thing like, what does it mean, let your heart be perfect? And I was thinking, and I was like, oh, I get it. So you got to be willing. You got to be willing to do whatever it is that the Lord require of you. That's when I first came in. And that thing hit me like, so I got to be ready and willing to do whatever it is that he asks of me, not my own personal reasons.
Right.
It's not about me. It's about him. He created everything for his purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And now everything is out of order because we're out of order. Go ahead. Start it back from the top.
Verse 60, that all the people of the earth may know that the Lord is God and that there is none else. Mm-hmm. Let your heart therefore be perfect with the Lord our God, to walk in his statutes and to keep his commandments as at this day.
See, there it is again, to walk. And there's other scriptures. Walk in the commandments. It's how you supposed to live. That's what that means. Mm-hmm. So let's go. You know, you have, we're going to go to Exodus 20. But first, because people think that there were no laws on the earth until Exodus 20.
Wow.
It don't make no sense.
Wow.
But look, just real quick, let's show them.
If that were true, then what happened with Adam and Eve?
Right, that's where we're going.
Right.
Watch this. Just real quick. Mm-hmm. Genesis 4, start at 3.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 3. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
Right. So you don't see where the commandment was given for them to bring an offering, right? But you know, let's go to Leviticus 3 and 1. Mm-hmm. You know from the commandments where this came from. And it said the fat thereof.
Right.
We're going to show you what that is. He bought the firstling of his flock and the fat thereof.
Right. They don't understand key words.
That's because they hate the commandments. If you're not, all they're doing is searching through the New Testament. Mm-hmm. So they're not understanding the background on anything.
Wow.
Start at verse 1.
3 and 1.
Yep. Leviticus 3 and 1.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 3 and verse 1. And if his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering.
Peace offering.
If he offer it of the herd, whether it be a male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. Verse 2. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. So
you don't read where you're bringing an offering and it's only fruits and vegetables. Or, well, there ain't no such thing as fruit. Because in the Bible, it's all, no. Ain't no such thing as vegetable. Because in the scriptures, everything is called the fruit.
Right.
It's the fruit of. A tree, I don't care if it's pines, that's the fruit of that tree. The pines.
Right. Just like children are the fruit of a woman's body.
Right. And of a man's loins.
Oh.
So, and this thing is vegetables.
Man, we just messed a Christian head up.
Uh-oh, we done messed my own people head up. Like, what? But read verse 3.
Verse 3. The book of Leviticus, chapter 3 and verse 3. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
So a peace offering made by fire. Go ahead. You burn. That's what you burn on the altar.
Right.
Go ahead.
The fat that covereth the inwards.
The fat that covereth the inwards. The best parts inside. As you're reading in the Levitical law, the best parts is for the Lord. You're supposed to let it burn all night. In certain offerings, you let burn all night. Nobody can partake of it. It's strictly for the Lord. Finish that out.
And all the fat that is upon the inwards.
So they're giving sacrifices. He didn't bring one. Go back to Genesis 4. Cain didn't bring one. He didn't bring what he was supposed to bring.
Right.
So what are they doing? Where does this come from? Why are they keeping this? Why are they keeping laws in Genesis 4 if it won't no laws? Now we'll go to verse 7. Watch this.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
If thou doest well,
if you be obedient, if thou doest well, go ahead.
Shalt thou not be accepted?
Right. The Lord going to accept you. Shine his face upon you, right? Go ahead.
And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
What is sin?
The breaking of God's commandments.
Go to it. 1 John 3 and 4. Sin lieth at the door. So when he's telling Cain, either you're going to be obedient or you're going to be disobedient. Being disobedient is sin. What are you being disobedient to? The law. You don't, it's a simple mind that believes that you can create this vast universe and all these inner workings and everything works fine together in order, but there's no law. You really have to have a simple mind to think like that.
Order only comes by law.
Right.
What in the world? Oh, no, he just put me here just to have fun. Okay.
And somebody come and bust you upside your head with a brick, you want some kind of recompense.
Right.
Or you want some kind of justice.
Some type of justice.
But if ain't no law, how you going to have justice? It's really a reprobate mind, really.
Right.
Go ahead and read that.
The book of 1 John, chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
So there has to be laws for sin to lie at the door. Now, Genesis, where do I want to go? Let's go to Genesis 8. And give me verse. Since we do, I could go to 7, but I could go to 6, but let's go to chapter 8 and start at 16.
The book of Genesis, chapter 8 and verse 16. Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee, of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth.
So this is when they're getting off of the ark. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And Noah went forth, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, and whatsoever creepeth upon the earth, after their kinds, went forth out of the ark.
So everything went forth out of the ark. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast.
What? Every what?
Every clean beast.
How do you know it's clean? Go ahead.
And of every clean fowl. And offered burnt offerings on the altar.
So how do you know what's clean? This is Noah immediately after the flood, and he's taking of the clean beasts and clean fowls and making sacrifices.
I do believe that's written somewhere in the law. How you don't know that?
Let's go there. Leviticus 11. Give me 1 and 2, and then we're going to jump back somewhere else. We're not going to go into this yet.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth.
Right. So this, you have Leviticus 11, and then you got Deuteronomy 14 that tells you what's clean and what's unclean to eat. But this wasn't established during the time of Moses. It was established from the beginning in creation.
Right.
Now, let's go back to Genesis real quick. We're almost done with like the preamble or introduction. Genesis 26. So learning the commandments, anywhere you go in the Bible, you can see them playing out. So you see laws in Genesis. You see laws with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and everybody. You see laws. Genesis 26, and give me verse 5.
The book of Genesis, chapter 26 and verse 5. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
So he kept laws, statutes, and commandments. But some people think there was only one commandment given, and that was you should not eat from this tree. So laws, statutes, commandments, this was given from the beginning. What we didn't know was sin. We didn't know obedience. Now that came when, from Eve being tempted by the serpent in the garden, by that evil person in the garden.
Right.
So now,
Was that to eat an apple?
oh damn apple! It was fruit that you're not supposed to be partaking in.
Right.
Fruits of the flesh. That was a lust.
Right.
A lust for equality. Let's go. Let's go to Exodus 16. Unless you got something.
Oh no, Timothy J. Bishop said, "Brothers, the only question about food is from Acts 10 and 14."
Oh, what he told Peter.
Oh my goodness.
They think it's about food.
Yes, it's not talking about food.
It's not talking about food.
Not talking about food at all.
Not at all.
It's talking about Israelites being unclean. The whole northern kingdom was separated for their uncleanness, for their worshiping other gods. So, but we did that recently. When we were talking about, we went to. That's in we touched that in the class about idolatry. Go back and look at that class. So but real quick, let's go to Acts 10.
Okay.
I think it's 16 or something like that. So,
You want to start up?
no, 13 and 14.
Okay.
Well, no,
Going up. One.
just 12 to 14.
Okay. This is the book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 12, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air.
Now, all manner of four-footed beasts, wild beasts, creeping things, and fowls of the air. Jump back to Deuteronomy 16. No, not 16. Hold on. One moment.
He said he'll go check it out. He said he won't try to accuse of you trying to do something.
Well, no. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, in that, so I can't recall the scripture at this very moment. In Deuteronomy, it might be 13. Hold on. But the Lord he allowed the other nations to serve the sun, the moon, and the stars. What is that? Yeah. No? I thought it was 13. Yeah, just go back and look at. Oh no, there it is. There it is. It's Deuteronomy 4. Deuteronomy 4 and start at 16. Because all this go together. Everything goes together.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, and verse 16. Lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl.
Same thing that is saying in Acts 10. All these different things. These are idols that people worship. Go ahead.
That flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them, and serve them which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven.
Right. So the other nations are worshiping these things.
Right.
Our people started worshiping them too. Now back to Acts 10. And read 12 again.
The book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 12, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat.
That's going into John 21, but go ahead.
But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
So that's Peter's response. But then Peter has to think about it and realize it's not talking about food.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 15, and the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common.
So what God has cleansed, you can't call it common. Ezekiel 37. And then we're going to get back on topic. What the Lord has cleansed. What he cleansed through his blood. 36. Give me 24.
36:24.
Yep.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse 24. For I will take you from among the heathen, and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you.
See, idolatry. It's all, everything is linked together.
Right.
So the northern kingdom was not just the northern kingdom, but southern kingdom too.
Yeah.
Was off into idolatry. The Lord said he's going to cleanse us. Now, chapter 37 and verse 23.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 37 and verse 23. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things.
See how it go together?
Right.
The idolatry?
We always fell into idolatry.
Yep,
Man. That's
especially the northern kingdom.
Nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them.
And will cleanse them. Go ahead.
So shall they be my people, and I will be their God.
Right. So what was cleansed is our people in idolatry. They worshiping other gods. Some of them, like even you'll see where they're called religious proselytes in the New Testament, meaning they're turning from those religions and worshiping those gods and turning back to serving the Lord. Mm-hmm. Now, Exodus 16. Go to verse 16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 16. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so and gathered, some more, some less.
Right. Go ahead.
And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. Verse 19. And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning.
Right. Let no man leave of it till the morning. Don't leave it out there in the field and then try to come pick it in the morning. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's our word right there. Stank. and Moses was wroth with them. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses.
So this is what we do. So on the day of preparation, we get everything we need for the Sabbath day.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 23. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord.
How you know it was the Sabbath? They haven't been given the commandments yet. This is why I try to get people to understand.
Right.
On Mount Sinai, when you get to Exodus 20, it's the covenant. The law's been existed.
Yep.
This is the covenant being confirmed and given to the children of Israel. It was established with Abraham. Then it was established with Isaac. Then it was established with Jacob. Now you have the 12 tribes. They have become a nation, is being established with the nation. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Let's see, did I stop?
Sabbath, the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. That's where you stop. 23
gotcha.
and right there.
I'll start over. The book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 23. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Mm-hmm. Bake that which ye will bake today.
So bake what you gonna bake. Go ahead.
And seethe that you will seethe.
So when you bake something or you seed something, what are you using to do that? If you boiling something, what do you use to make that heat?
So to make the heat?
Yeah, if you boiling something or you
Fire.
So you kindling a fire to do these things. So the Lord is saying,
Oh, man.
on that preparation day, you seethe, meaning boil what you gonna boil, and then you bake what you gonna bake or roast what you gonna roast.
Right.
It's all done with fire.
Fire.
You do it before the rest of the Sabbath. Go ahead.
And that which remaineth overlay up for you to be kept until the morning.
Right. So that's what you eat on the next day. That's why you get twice as much on that preparation day. So this is where we get the order. This is why it said no buying or selling and no cooking, no kindling of fire. Like, no kindling of fire is talking about you don't cook on the Sabbath day.
Right.
You're supposed to do it the day before. So now let's go to Exodus 20. And this is funny because, you're talking about the law of Moses. Read verse 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying.
Hold on. And God spake all these. We got to pray for our Christian brothers and sisters. They really don't understand what they're in, what they're doing. God spake all these words. Go ahead.
Verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which I brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Right. You serving idols, you willfully breaking commandments.
Right.
You hate the Most High. You hate the Most High. And you got these Christians just crusading and calling people that want to keep the commandments Judaizers. You hate the Most High. Stop pretending.
Right.
This is how a Christian claims that they're following Christ and they're walking like Christ. No, you're not. These commandments is how you do that. How do you think that Christ was the image of the Father? By his actions.
Exactly.
By what he did, by following the laws. Go ahead.
Verse 6. In showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
So you mean to tell me, now he's just starting to give the law and talking about mercy. He's only given one commandment. And he already talking about he's showing mercy to them that love him and keep his commandments. Well, we got grace. Grace and mercy means the same exact thing. He gives that to those that are keeping the commandments.
Right.
Now, you have some people that they have grace because they're ignorant of the fact they don't understand yet. But even that time is going to run out. How can we be both reading out the same book, but you don't understand that you got to follow what's written in here? Go ahead.
That goes to show you they don't believe in the words at
Right.
all. You know, once you confound them, they go back to the old, a man wrote that book.
Well, let's take for an example. Let's take your average, everyday Christian. And, they say, well, we're under grace and you got to have faith. So you can believe all you want. But what does that mean? You have to have some kind of action.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Hold this. James 2 real quick. This entire book was written for us. This is the highway for us to return. Damn. I just happened to look. Give me 1 and 22 first. I just happened to look up.
The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only.
Doing what?
Be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only.
Right. Doing what? Read the next part.
Deceiving your own selves.
Keep going.
Verse 23. For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass.
Damn. You can drop that. Now go to chapter 2. My goodness. I forgot all about that. Damn. That's straight up calling you a hypocrite.
Right.
Not hearers only, but doers. Or you deceiving your own selves. Woo. All right. Chapter 2 and give me verse 21. That's all we need. Well, 21 and 22.
The book of James, chapter 2 and verse 21. Was not Abraham our father justified by works?
Whoa. Justified by what?
By works.
Go ahead.
When he had offered Isaac, his son, upon the altar.
That was a work. He believed, so he went to do what the Lord told him to do.
Right.
Damn. Go ahead.
Seest thou how faith wrought with his
With
works?
With his works. Go
And
ahead.
by works was faith made perfect?
Damn. They go together.
Right.
Damn, you good. You can drop that. Now let's go back to Exodus 20, man. And we were at 6.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 6. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
Mm-hmm.
That thou shalt
Something-
not take. Okay.
Jump to 8. We got to do some jumping around. We have to. Because
Okay.
it's a lot of commandments. Go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Mm-hmm.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Right. So we're in the beginning part of the Sabbath day. When it got dark, that's when the Sabbath started. It starts in the evening. Go ahead.
In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Right.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day.
Rested the seventh day. Go ahead.
Wherefore the Lord blessed the seventh day and hallowed it.
He hallowed it, meaning he separated it from other days. Now, you can't make up your own freaking Sabbath day. Change it to Sunday and say we celebrate the Lord on every day. It ain't about that. It's about doing what he said do.
Right.
And then they'll say by us keeping the commandments, we're trying to make our own righteousness. The Lord created the commandments.
Wow.
I'm telling you. We going about, you going about to make your own righteousness. What are you talking about? We're doing what the Lord said do. You making your own righteousness by changing the daggone day, and then you call yourself keeping that day holy, but you ain't doing nothing holy on those days. You still buying and selling and going to restaurants, movies, doing all that stuff you're not supposed to be doing, and cooking and everything. Yeah, in the church.
Right.
Praying over daggone ham up in the church, a glazed honey ham. And wonder why you got high blood pressure.
Gout. All that good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. 12.
12. The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth, which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Go ahead.
You see how it said father and mother.
Yeah, father first.
Not Mother's Day and then Father's Day.
Yeah, this is
separation.
This is something you're supposed to do every day.
Right. Verse
You know,
30.
being in that group with them brothers, and they so disrespectful. Sometimes I be wanting to hit Leviticus 22, and we'll come back to this. Hold tight. I be wanting to hit them with this sometime, but they ain't gonna do nothing but disrespect me even further. It's just the way that they are. Leviticus 19, 20, 32.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 32. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head, and honor the face of the old man, and fear thy God. I am the Lord.
Right, and so these young brothers, all they do is try to push every single button. That's all they try to do, repeatedly. No respect, but they Christians. They in that gent calling people names.
That's a female trait too.
Yeah.
Trying
Now,
to put the
verse 13.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 13. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Right. So, off of these commandments that the Lord gave, now you have many, many others that fall underneath this. Before we go into them, give me verse 23.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 23. Ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold.
Right, so this goes back with the very first one. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now, let's jump to chapter 21. So you have commandments that we're supposed to walk in. All of these right here we just read are some of the commandments that we have to walk in, and there's many little bylaws that go underneath. Now, on the other hand, when you break them, then you have a bunch of what's called judgments. Like people say, oh, you can't judge me. Well, hey, that's what our people did back then. The Lord ain't coming down to do every judgment. Even Moses didn't do every judgment. He heard the hard matters. Verse 1.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 21 and verse 1. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them.
Right. These are the judgments. Now, give me... Pick back up at 12.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 12. He that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death.
So let's say you punch a man or you hit a man with something and you cause him to die, then it's life for life. You had to be put to death too. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And if a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee.
So we had cities of refuge. So let's say you accidentally killed a man. You would flee into the city of refuge. And the high priest, as long as the high priest was alive, you had to stay in that city of refuge. Once he died, you were free to go. Continue on.
Verse 14. But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile.
Meaning he premeditated
Pretty much.
the murder.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt take him from mine altar that he may die.
Right. No repentance for that, man.
Right. Verse 15. And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death.
Man, if this was applied today, the world would be a better place.
Yes.
I remember one time my mom did something that made me so angry. and she was hitting me upside my head, and I balled my fist up. And she saw my fist, and she just went to wailing. And then when she was done, my dad went to wailing on me. Oh, you balled your fist up at your mama? I will never forget that. Hey, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod will drive it away from him.
I heard that.
Hey, it's better that to get whooped than for me to end up dying,
Right.
getting judged. Shoot. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
Now you have people that say, "Oh, you know, your own people sold you into slavery." Now that may have happened. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It may have happened.
A coon or
but,
two.
But who do you think this law applied to? It's us.
Yeah.
It's for us. It's in our law.
Yeah.
And it's not just right here either. Hold on. It's in Deuteronomy 2.
Anybody we can say that got caught red-handed is Esau.
Oh, yeah, that's like a trade. But you would have, you know what I'm saying, have our people doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 24:7. Same thing. People try to hit me with that. I'd be like, well, there's a law for it. If you do that, you die, you're supposed to go into slavery too.
Right. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24 and verse 7. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put evil away from among you.
Right, you put that evil away from among you. It can't be among you, because then it'll fester and other people will start doing it.
Yep.
Like, so in this, today we live in cancel culture where they take the evilest things and put them in the forefront for you to do. That don't make sense. And the evil multiplies. When does evil multiply? When Esau is in rulership. Evil's multiplying the earth. All right, back to Exodus 21. Verse 17. This is what Christ was quoting from too.
The book
17.
of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 17. And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
Yeah, Christ said, "Let him die to death."
Verse 18.
No, we're gonna skip some of them because they'll trip people up.
Right.
So, because you have, you know what I'm saying, you have like the Kemetic community will try to go in on you about some of these laws right here. Give me $28.
Same chapter.
Yeah. Exodus 21:28.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 28. If an ox gore a man or a woman, that they die, then the ox shall surely be
Stoned.
surely stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten. But the owner of the ox shall be quit.
Oh, you can't even eat him. Even though he a clean animal because of what he did,
Right.
he got to be stoned and you can't eat him.
He got blood on his
Yeah, his blood had to be...
his hoofs.
Can't say on his
His on his hand,
blood on his hoofs. You funny. Go ahead.
Verse 29. But if the ox were wont to push with his horn in time past, and it hath been testified to his owner.
So if this ox has a reputation of goring people or trying to gore people, right, just like the same thing with a dog. Like, you know, your pit get out, which mainly they get out and they be trying to fight other dogs. They don't go after people. I mean, I had one time. It was this one dude my dog didn't like, and he headbutted the dude. The dude was on top of a car screaming. He headbutted me. But yeah, go ahead.
And he hath not kept him in, but that he hath killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and his owner also shall be put to death.
Because now he's responsible because he knows what type of spirit is on that ox.
Right.
Whew.
I tell you what he would have ended up if I knew it. I wouldn't even let it get that far. I'd be like, burgers, anyone?
Yeah, the butcher shop.
You know what I'm saying? Verse 30.
Give me 35.
Okay. The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 35. And if one man's ox hurt another's, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide. Verse 36. Or if
Hold on, how you gonna divide the live ox? Oh no, that's the dead ox. They're gonna divide, and then they're gonna cut him up. Okay, I get it. Go ahead.
Verse 36. Or if it be known that the ox hath used to push in time past, and his owner hath not kept him in, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own.
Right. So he'll end up with the dead ox instead of the live one. Oh. 22 and 1.
All right. Exodus chapter 22 and verse 1. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep.
So if you get caught, you got to give back more. You know what I'm saying? Way more than what you took. That's to keep you from doing it. It's evil. Verse 2.
Verse 2. If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon
So if he get caught, there shall be no, and he get caught and he get put to death, there should be no blood shed for him.
Right.
Meaning that's justice. He got caught. Go ahead.
Verse
He
3.
got caught in the act and smitten, got put to death. Go ahead.
Verse 3. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, for he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft.
He shall be sold for his theft. So he's not going into captivity, but he's going to have to serve for and pay restitution through that service for what he stole. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
But then remember now, you got the year of release too. But at least he ain't dead. Go ahead.
Verse 4. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double.
See?
That's righteous.
Yeah, that's why David said all that laws is righteousness. It is. Why people wouldn't want to live like this is beyond me. Now,
it's crazy how people got the power to read now and don't want to read.
Nope, not this. They want to do other things.
Wow.
Let's jump to 16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22.
Y'all pay attention on here, especially you young folks, because this is for you. You have a chance to live righteously, to have a righteous marriage, a righteous union. Go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
So you know how people like to do. They see something they want and they just get to the point. They get so attracted that they just feel like they gotta do something. Okay, so now because you've done that, now you got to make this woman your wife. Now this has to be your husband. You can't be, ain't no, no, I don't like him like that. The Lord don't know. The Lord is like, no, because you did that. This is only, because what you did is only for married people. It's to procreate. Not just for you to do willy-nilly. That's why you got so many baby mamas, baby daddies, so much drama out here. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got a daddy bringing McDonald's for his kid, and then there's a problem.
Right. like Brother Ra'an said. He said, man, we ain't celebrating no more baby showers no more and not having marriages.
Right.
It's more baby showers than marriages now in our communities. We need to change that. The only way to build a nation is with our families first.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we build our nation back. Get our homes in order first.
Right. Right. Verse 17.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 17. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
So it's just showing you that that this young man went behind the father's back. You're supposed to go through the father. The father took care of her all those years and raised her, and then you go behind his back and lay with her. You've done this man a disservice. You dishonored him. So he has the choice to say yay or nay because he's over his daughter. Y'all, people don't understand how important that is.
Mm-hmm.
That you see, it's on what's the movie they made two of them with Eddie Murphy, Coming to America.
Okay.
So in the first one, when he's leaving the barbershop, he told Prince, whatever his name is, he told him, "Oh, you got to go through her father."
Oh, Prince Akeem.
He's from Zamunda. Yeah, he said you got to go through a father. Mm-hmm. That's the way it's supposed to be done.
Right.
So he can refuse, and then you'd have to pay money. But then she would be spoiled, and she would have a bad name among the virgins in Israel, even though she done laid with a man.
Right.
She still would be a virgin of Israel because she's of marriageable age. That's another story. Go ahead.
Verse 19. Whosoever lieth with a beast shall surely be put to death.
They need to enforce this now.
Man.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. He that sacrificeth unto any god, save unto the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed.
Right. Law number 1.
Right. Verse 21.
But remember now, these are judgments.
Mm-hmm.
These are judgments. If you don't commit any of these sins, then you don't have to worry about these judgments.
Right.
Like it said in 1 Timothy 1, the law was not made for a righteous man.
Right.
So if you righteous, you ain't got to worry about these judgments.
Right.
Our people so ignorant. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Now, so let's look at this. We're strangers here.
Right.
If you oppress a stranger, what does that cause?
Probably an uproar.
You're right. You're 100% right. Because you're vexing them. You're disrespecting them, doing all kinds of things to them,
right,
like they've done to the natives here, like they've done to us that they bought here, and treat us like second-class citizens, treat us with no kind of respect,
none
whatsoever. Don't regard all the labor that we have done here.
No consideration.
Just completely disrespect you and hate you. Now that causes uprisings. Why do you think we've been marching and marching and marching? Because things keep happening. So the Lord made this law. Mm-hmm. You need, how are you going to walk in peace? You can't just treat people any kind of way. That's one of the reasons why Esau, the so-called white man, why they fighting so hard and don't want to believe that we're going to be in rulership. Because they realize in their spirit what they have done to us. So they think that we willy-nilly going to do the same back. No, we got laws that we have to stand by.
Right.
But the crazy thing is the curse is going to be on them, so they're going to be doing stuff and getting punished. Now, verse 22. I like this part.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 22. Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child.
Right. A widow or fatherless child. You're not supposed to afflict them.
Right.
you're supposed to treat them a certain type of way. You're supposed to treat them with love, which is the commandments. Watch this. Keep going.
Verse 23. If thou afflict them in any wise,
Mm-hmm.
and they cry at all unto me,
They cry out to the Lord.
oof, I will surely hear this cry,
Mm-hmm.
and my wrath shall wax hot,
Mm-hmm.
and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless.
Damn.
Oh, you're going to trade places with me.
Right.
Good.
Right. Oh, you going to afflict the fatherless
Right.
and the widow?
Right. But that's righteous, though.
Yes, it is.
That's righteous.
Keep going.
Verse 25. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee,
Mm-hmm.
thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon his usury.
Upon him, usury. Usury is you,
And
what they call it?
what's the interest?
Yeah, interest.
There you go.
Interest.
Yeah.
Every time I think about usury, I think about the movie Armageddon, when he goes in, Steve Buscemi goes in to borrow 100,000 from the loan shark named Vic at 20%.
Man.
That's what I think of. He's like, "You gonna die on me or something?" Yeah, you can't charge usury.
Right.
I've been using that word so long, I forgot, the other names. But yeah, interest, charging interest. Go ahead.
Verse 26.
No, you can skip 6.
Okay.
You skip 26. Go to 28.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 28. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people.
Now, this is people. If you say God, people have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
They think it means supreme being, the creator of everything. It's just a title. It's showing you what it is. It's a judge or a ruler. Give me 1 second. Yeah, give me Exodus 7:1. Moses was a god. He was the ruler of Israel. But watch this situation right here.
The book of Exodus, chapter 7 and verse 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, See, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh,
Made him a judge to Pharaoh. Go ahead.
and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet.
His mouthpiece.
Oh,
Now back to Exodus 23.
and you see that God is lowercase g too.
Right. We're the gods of the earth, judges of the earth. That's why we have to learn this law
Right.
to be the judges. How you gonna be a judge? Because his brothers were saying, "Oh, we're kings and priests." Well, what are you judging by? What are you ruling by? And you saying ain't no law. That's why the world is the way it is.
Right. And you got, what you say, you got New Testament Christians that say they don't follow the Old Testament, or we don't have to.
Lost. Lost.
It's lost throughout the whole book, but it don't hit like in the so-called Old Testament. It don't hit like that.
All right, now, ooh, give me verse 31. Watch this, y'all.
Get excited.
This is one of my go-to scriptures.
The book of Exodus,
Man.
chapter 22 and verse 31. And ye shall be holy men unto me.
Mm-hmm.
Neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dog.
Now, give me Acts 15. You'll see this a lot. If you battle Christians, you'll see this a lot. Oh, see? Verse 20. Watch this.
The book of Acts, chapter 15 and verse 20.
Because a guy tried to bring this up on Facebook today.
But that we write unto them,
Mm-hmm.
that they abstain from pollutions of idols.
Ooh, where's that written?
Back in,
Yeah, that's the first commandment, right?
right,
That's what they call the law of Moses, right?
right.
Go ahead.
and from fornication,
Mhm.
and from things strangled, and from blood.
Wait a minute, because Pastor Holloway said that this is all they had to do, and this certainly isn't the law of Moses. But what did we just read? Go back to it, Exodus 23, 22, and 31.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22 and 31. And ye shall be holy men unto me. Neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Ye shall cast it to the dog.
Now, how does a beast of the field kill an animal?
Usually pounce them and then go for the jugular.
And when they go for the jugular, what are they doing?
Strangling it.
Exactly. So if it's torn of a beast, they have strangled it. We just read that in Acts 15. Things strangled and from blood. Understand what you're reading. Them dudes be getting confounded. Oh, yeah. Well, see, it says we taught no such thing. Stop, bro. Stop. Chapter 23. I like this right here.
You gonna start at verse 1?
Yeah, start at verse
I'm
1.
about to say, because dealing with them Christians, boy, this go in a whole day.
But this is, I mean, all of this applies to your everyday life.
Right.
The Lord is telling you, stay the hell away from this stuff.
Right.
Go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 1. Thou shalt not raise a false report.
Dude, be doing that every
All
day.
day.
All day. In that gym. Accusation after accusation.
Right.
Like, and the bro was like, you know that they be using pork to make certain wines. And I put up a bottle of Manischewitz that, you know what I'm saying, when we break bread, we take it. Then they're going to accuse me of like, oh, he sure to be drinking that wine. Come on, man. Examine first, then rebuke.
Right. But they say that the church, you're not allowed to drink wine nor liquor. What? But I bet you they drinking wine and liquor.
So they calling Christ saying he in the midst of sin by
Right.
making wine.
Right.
Foolishness. Go ahead.
Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness.
And then now the history of Susanna.
Man.
Brother Al did that class last week. When you looking at it, even though they say, oh, that's not canon, that's not God breathed, but all through it, you seeing God's laws play out. That sister was saved because she was keeping God's laws.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil.
So come out of Christianity.
Shoot, come out the churches. All y'all doing evil. Neither shall thou speak in a cause to decline, after many to wrest judgment.
Now, you know what's funny about this? This is what happened with Christ. Because he had people come up and give witness against him, and they were lying. Breaking these commandments. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his cause. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again.
I remember the first time I read this, I was like, damn. If you and another brother, y'all enemies, y'all got ought against each other, and it makes you reconcile.
Man.
It makes you reconcile.
Just that small gesture of love right there.
Yes.
Like, y'all could become cool.
Yeah, it'd be like, man, I can't hate this man. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yo, dog, you looked out for me, you know? Like, no matter how much hatred there or animosity, like, y'all could squash that joint right there. God. You gained a brother.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 5. If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him.
So, forbearing means you don't want to. But the Lord is saying you still.
Go against yourself. Yeah.
Thou shalt surely help with him.
Right.
You got to do it anyway. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Thou shalt not rest the judgment of thy poor in his cause.
Right. Is you're not supposed to have, what this is going into, you're not supposed to have respect to persons.
Right.
Don't matter if he poor or if he rich. You can't be like, have pity on him because he poor, or you can't have pity on him because he rich. You're supposed to do just judgment. People hear people go, the Lord is no respecter of persons. You're right. That doesn't mean that he's going to allow heathens to come in to be part of Israel.
Right.
That means that his promise is if you keep the commandments, you're going to get the kingdom. You keep the commandments, believe on his son that he sent, you're going to get the kingdom. No matter where you at, you'll get the kingdom.
You know what their problem is too?
Mm-hmm.
They look at time. They be like, oh, that's old. That was back in the Old Testament. But see, they don't know our God, time doesn't exist for him. A promise is a promise to him.
I think the main problem is we have been taught that we're the Gentiles. So we try to force that doctrine, believing that we're the Gentiles, when it's actually the people that have been teaching us. They're the Gentiles.
Right.
This applies to us. It's the only way it makes sense. So that jant hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, damn, this makes sense. Go ahead. Verse 7.
Verse 7. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not.
Now, see that?
God.
When was this? When did this happen?
That was Christ.
History of Susanna.
That too.
She was righteous.
She was very righteous.
Now, Christ, they had to kill him, though.
Yeah.
You know, from the
It
beginning.
had to
But
go down, right.
yeah. But keep thee far from a false man. That's why Daniel was like, my hands is clean to this right here.
Right. He ain't do that.
You about to slay this righteous woman.
He ain't do that that thing that Herod did. When he talking about something, his hands are washed clean.
Oh.
And then he slayed Christ anyway. Damn, our people like the other nations, man.
Yeah, they want to be like him.
People wicked as hell. What we at, verse 8?
Verse 7. Read 7 again.
The book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 7. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not. For I will not justify the wicked.
See, he will not justify the wicked. Give me chapter 34 and verse 7. All we're going to be able to do is we're going to end up hitting chapter 24 because we've been a while, and I don't want to drag this on. I'm going to start making them shorter on Friday nights. Verse 7.
The book of Exodus, chapter 34 and verse 7. Keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin.
All the way back then. But they talking about, see, grace came through Christ. The Most High was giving us grace all the whole time.
He sure was.
Go ahead.
And that will by no means clear the guilty.
Right. By no means clear the guilty. Go ahead.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, unto the third and to the fourth generation.
Right. Now I'm back. Exodus 23.
What we at?
Verse 8.
Gotcha. The book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 8.
Damn, this is what Esau be doing to our people right here.
And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blindeth the wise, and perverteth the words of the righteous.
Right. So Ecclesiastes, you know how people like going to it. You know, a gift destroys the heart. But it's in the law.
Oh, man. It's too easy, too. Especially nowadays. Verse 9. Also, thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Right. So this definitely talking about the other nations right here, not your brother.
Verse 10.
But that, I would apply still. You know, you still got to apply.
No matter what. Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 10. In 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruits thereof. But the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat.
Yeah, so even when you look at Esau, man, they don't let nothing rest. Nothing can rest.
Nope.
Like it's saying Isaiah, he punishing the world with a continual stroke. One continual stroke. That joint don't never stop. Verse 12.
Verse 12, 6 days thou shalt do thy work, and on the seventh day thou shalt rest, that thine ox and thine ass may rest, and the son of thy handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed.
So, if you have a business, or let's say you got money and you got servants, everybody is supposed to rest on the Sabbath day. It's made for everybody to rest. It's going to go down in the kingdom. You think the other nations are going to be working on the Sabbath?
Right.
Everybody, everything is supposed to rest, man. Go ahead.
Verse 13, and in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect.
Be circumspect. Oh. Mm-hmm.
And make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened
He
bread.
said it like that, y'all, because before unleavened bread, you have Passover.
Right.
Passover is supposed to be kept in your house. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is supposed to be kept at Jerusalem. Right now, we're rehearsing the righteous acts. We can't get to Jerusalem. Imagine us trying to go to Jerusalem and keep it a feast. We would be on the damn news. They always shooting folks over there.
Right. You think they won't bomb us? When we come through? What you doing here?
Right.
Yo, the Lord did it again, bro. Verse 15, 23:15, on the 15th day,
Oh, yeah.
unleavened bread.
Yeah.
Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread.
Mhm.
Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month Abib. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty.
Right, so you'll notice whenever it's talking about the Feast of Unleavened Bread, it mentions the month of Abib, and it says you came out of Egypt, because Passover was kept in Egypt. The death angel came, killed the Egyptians and the other nations and their servants, the firstborn of everybody there except Israel. That was Passover. Then we left out the next night. That's unleavened bread. So you'll always see them together. We came out.
Right.
We came out in the month of Abib. It's always referring to unleavened bread. Go ahead.
Verse 16, and the feast of harvest.
So the Feast of Harvest,
Right.
which we've been wrongfully calling it first fruits. It's not the Feast of First Fruits. It's the Feast of Harvest. You bring your first fruits. Go ahead.
The first fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year,
Talking about tabernacles. Go ahead.
when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. 3 times in the year all thy males shall appear before the Lord God.
So on these 3 feasts, the men are supposed to come to Jerusalem. Let's go to Deuteronomy 16:10 and 16:16 real quick, just to back this up, because we ain't going to get no further. We're going to get into 24, and then that's all the time that we're going to have. 16 and 10.
The book of
Start at
Deuteronomy.
9.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16 and verse 9. 7 weeks shall thou number unto thee.
Mm-hmm.
Begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn.
So when Passover is over, that first Sabbath, you start counting your 7 weeks. And then you get the Feast of Weeks. That's what it's called. Go ahead.
And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God with a tribute of a freewill offering of thine hand,
Mm-hmm.
which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God. according as the Lord thy God hath blessed thee.
And now verse 16.
Verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God
That's what it's saying in Exodus. Go ahead.
in the place which he shall choose,
Which is Jerusalem. He chooses that, and you'll see it in 2 Chronicles.
in the feast of unleavened bread,
Mm-hmm.
and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles.
So those are the 3 feasts. So we just came here to prove what was said in chapter 23. Let's go back to 23.
Exodus.
Yeah, Exodus. You just read 17, so go to 18.
The book of Exodus, chapter 23, and verse 18. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning.
Right, it's supposed to burn.
The first of the first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God.
Right, it's you bringing your, like I said, you bringing your first fruits, but it's called the Feast of Weeks.
Right.
Go ahead, keep going.
Thou shalt not seethe a kid in his mother's milk.
That is, like Elder O used to say all the time, that's hatred.
Right.
That's basically what the Christians have done with taking this and putting their spin on it and feeding it to us. They've taken what is supposed to be good for us and use it as evil. Go ahead. Yeah, exactly what they did. This is our
That
milk.
makes sense. Right.
That's not a cheeseburger.
but yeah, literally, this is our milk. Hey, Genesis 49:12 real quick.
Yeah. Oh, I know where you're going with it. Cheese white with milk.
Right. Yeah, what do you think that milk is?
Right. The book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 12. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk.
Right. That's the laws and the doctrine. All right, back to chapter 23, Exodus 23. Go
Was it
jump
18?
to, you was at,
What was it, 18?
you can go to 20.
Okay.
Mm,
The book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 20. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Because of him and beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions. For my name is in him.
what do you think that name is? My name is in him. Is it talking about Yahweh,
No.
Yahushai, Jehovah? Is it talking about that? No.
These laws.
Yeah, it's talking about these laws and these judgments we reading. He not going to pardon you.
Don't get this word.
My name is in him. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 22. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies and an adversary unto thine adversaries.
Now, that's what you want. That's why whenever we went to war, and the Lord would tell you, go and fight this nation. Go and put them to death.
Yo, that one,
Run them out the land.
look what that say. That went over. I just caught this. It said, but if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak. So Christ was being the voice for the Most High.
His prophet.
Damn.
His mouthpiece.
Right.
Go ahead.
Oof. Verse 23. For mine angel shall go before thee and bring thee in unto the Amorites.
That's capital A.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off.
Right. So, like, we was having a discussion with brothers about marrying the other nations. Well, see, it says this nation, this nation, this nation, and this nation. Like, look, just let's make it simple. You're not supposed to marry the women of the land,
Right.
no matter where you are. So at this particular time, he was taking us into the land of Canaan, giving us that land. And these people there, you're not supposed to take their wives. You're not supposed to take their husbands. You're not supposed to follow their gods. You're not supposed to make no covenant with them. Go ahead.
Verse 24. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works. But thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thee. Bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee.
My goodness, I wish that was fulfilled in this day, boy. Well, so now let's jump down to chapter 24 and verse 1. We're going to start wrapping this up. Yeah.
The book of Exodus, chapter 24 and verse 1. And he said unto Moses, come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord.
So come up with the 70 elders and them. You come up to the mountain. They're going to go up to the chariot. But Moses going to go in that jank. Go ahead.
And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh. Neither shall the people go up with him.
Right. That's back in chapter 19. And see, once they get to this certain point, he'll start. If they go past that, he'll put them to death.
Shot through. Yep.
Yeah.
Verse
Verse
3.
3.
And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgments.
The judgments.
And all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord hath said will we do.
Remember that. All the words that the Lord said, we will do.
They don't even know that was the marriage. They said, I do.
Right. That's our forefathers. That's us saying, yes, we agree.
We'll do.
That's why you got these people, these Christians. You even have Israelites saying, oh, we're in the new covenant. No, we're not.
No.
When did we go stand before the Lord and agree, just like we had to do right here?
Right.
When did we do that?
Right. And these and this same old funky body. He ain't gonna take this. Let me
Yeah, digress.
He ain't gonna take this. He don't want this. He don't want
All this wickedness.
You ain't lying. This carnal.
And you go to Ezekiel 20, we have to go back to the wilderness with the Lord and be taught by him face to face. So we're not in the covenant. Like, one thing that Christians have right is we're under grace. But that grace does not give you permission to sin. Period.
Nope.
Go ahead. Now verse 4. Because all the words which the Lord have said, we will do. My goodness, not understanding nothing.
Nope.
Go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 24 and verse 4. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and built an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel.
Hold on, man. There's a contradiction right there. Because in Judaism, the Jewish people tell us that they have the oral Torah, which, they have the oral Torah, which God had told Moses all these things and he didn't write down. Yeah, so, but it says Moses wrote all the words of the Lord.
Right.
That stuff is a lie. It's also in Exodus, hold on, just a moment, y'all. Exodus 30. Exodus 34. And where is this? Right here somewhere. Yeah, 32. This contradicts what they said too.
The book of Exodus, chapter 34, and verse 32. And afterward, all the children of Israel came nigh, and he gave them in commandment all that the Lord had spoken with him in Mount Sinai.
So all that he spoke with him while he was there, he gave it to the children of Israel in commandment. So it won't no oral laws. It was written down. I'm telling you, man, our enemies are the biggest liars on the face of this earth.
Right.
Back to chapter 24. Yeah, verse 5.
The book of Exodus, chapter 24, and verse 5. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings, and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. Verse 7. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said all
So
that the Lord...
so what he did, he read the laws, and then go ahead.
and read in the audience of the people, and they said all,
They said
all that the Lord hath said will we do, and be
obedient. Go ahead. So we said we're gonna do it and be obedient. Go ahead.
And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, Behold the blood of the covenant which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words.
So when did that happen the second time?
Sir.
We know Christ ain't gonna take his blood and sprinkle it on millions of
Right.
people, but we got to stand before the Lord and agree to this covenant,
Right.
the new covenant which is made with Judah and Israel and the 12 tribes united as one. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then went up Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel.
And pay attention to this. So we done with the class. This right here just a little extra.
Yes.
So they going up to see the Lord, right? Go ahead.
And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet as it were a paved work of a sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in his clearness.
So they saw the God of Israel, but no man has seen the Father.
Right.
No man has seen the Father, but they saw the God of Israel.
Verse 11.
No.
That's
Now
it?
give me Ezekiel 1 and 28.
Gotcha.
No, 1 and 25. Ezekiel 1 and 25. So they saw the God of Israel as there was under his feet, as it were a paved work of a sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in clearness. Ezekiel 1 and 25.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 25. And there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads when they stood and had let down their wings. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon
The pavement of sapphire stone, right? Go ahead.
and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it.
That's it. That's it. Oh no, read 20. No, keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Verse 27.
The appearance of a man. It's the same thing that Moses and them saw.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 27. And I saw as the color of ember,
No, color ain't in the Bible. Go ahead.
as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about, and the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain. So
The rainbow.
So was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory,
Glory of the Lord.
And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one,
The one
that
that
spake.
spoke. Good God. All right, 1 Corinthians
Revelation
13.
I was just thinking.
Yeah, it's the Lord and his throne, man.
Yeah.
People don't like, yo, that's that ship.
Mm.
That was on the mount.
Yeah.
That was hovering above the mount. And that whole mount is the top of it is black.
Burn. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That-
Just said our Lord is a consuming fire.
They don't want to let people go up there. You would think they would make money off of by giving tours. And
They
things
could,
like that.
but somebody would
That'll
destroy something.
prove too much.
Yeah, you're right.
That'll prove the scriptures to be too right.
Edomites be sneaking up in that jank with their cameras and stuff.
You want to say?
Yeah, 12 and 13.
Okay.
No, since we've been going over the laws, let's start at 11.
Okay. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child.
Mm-hmm.
I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
Right. When he became a man, he put away childish things.
Right.
You know, like a couple of brothers in the scriptures, you know, tell you what it is to be a man. It's to keep the charge of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving you laws on how you're supposed to walk. We just went over some of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we need to do this more often. This is what we need. These are the laws of life. This is what we're supposed to be doing in order to live. Verse 12.
Verse 12. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face.
Yeah, when he appears, we'll see face to face. Go ahead. Remember, hold on. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Ezekiel 20. I had mentioned it earlier. Just go there real quick. None of the prophecies shall fail.
Right.
And verse 35.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
Face to face. That hasn't happened. We're not bonded in the new covenant yet.
Nope.
If we were bonded in the new covenant, the moment somebody commit a sin worthy of death, they done.
Mm-hmm. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 12. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known.
Right, go ahead.
And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity.
Right, the greatest of these is charity. That's brotherly love. You know, having love, honor, respect, and everything for your people and wanting to help your people, which is something I always forget, and that is that we need alms.
Right.
We need alms. People need help. People need charity. We'll put it up. I'll put it up on the school page on Facebook. I'll put it up. Excuse me. Where to send alms to? What is it? I can't remember.
Give me a sec. It is.
I think it's Saints Con.
It's a Saints congregation. I think that's what it is. Ooh.
Sign Saints congregation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Saints Congregation. Saints Congregation.
Yeah.
Please send in alms. Do what you can. We wanna, we wanna help our brothers and sisters. Help those that can't help themselves,
Right.
and and we need certain things too. Oh yeah, before I forget, we should have the calendar, Lord's will, I guess by Sunday we should have it up, so everybody can start. You can see, the feast days and what days to take off for the major feasts. So that's it for tonight's class, the Book of the Law. Just a little bit of how we're supposed to walk in the commandments of the Lord. Remember, we read in 1 Kings 8:61, let your heart be perfect with the Lord to walk in his ways and his laws, statutes, and commandments. I'm Brother Jacob, and to my left,
I'm Brother Joab.
And we say shalom.
Book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times.
It ain't nowhere that I can't go. You see me, you see him, I'm like children in the flame though. It's because I follow him though. He the light to my feet, it's like flames what I follow. But let me stop for you heathos. I've been crossed many times, so yes I know the pain, yo. And forgive is where I ain't go. Told the brother get in line, giving shots like a needle. I've been sinning for real, murder, but I ain't killed for real. Shot for shot to seal the deal. Now I'm here, just swallow the pill. Now I'm woozy, don't know how to act. Devil is mine, on Philly attack. My spirit to flesh had taken it back, and I ain't thinking about bringing it back. Tap, tap, I think I ain't hear it right. The Lord come like a thief at night, but I ain't believe the hype. Yeah, like Saul when I seen the night, but had me feeling like Paul when I found the light. Cap, 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 cap. You say you love your people, but that's cap, cap, cap. You swear you don't be lying, but that's cap, cap, cap. You say you did atonement, but that's cap, cap, cap. I say cap, 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 cap. You say you love your nation, but that's cap, cap, cap. You swear you done with envy, but that's cap, cap, cap. You say you did atonement, but that's cap, cap, cap. I say.
So Peter said, if a brother sin against me, he offended. He does something unlawful. Could have took your money, could have tail beared against any of those types. How many times should I forgive? 7 times? Because 7 was a complete number. What did the matter?
Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.